Forced to reschedule 2 days worth of appointments, the Petco Park Vaccination Center reopens to long lines. The efforts to speed the process and address frustrations as more waits are expected.
Restaurants are back open and unemployed workers are eager to get back on the job. Why some of those will get that call sooner than others.
After an initial surge, new COVID cases at UC San Diego are back to single digits. The two key programs the university says helped get the surge under control.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
After powerful winds and rain forced its closure for 2 days, the Petco Park Vaccine Center reopened today. This was the scene for hours. A long line of traffic backed up for several blocks. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our coverage tonight begins with our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala, who shows us what's expected for the rest of the week after many appointments had to be rescheduled.
A look from Sky 10 Wednesday shows cars lined up for blocks outside of the Petco Vaccination Superstation downtown. People like Deborah and Jorge Gomez waited for hours before they could get a COVID-19 vaccine.
About 3.5 hours, and I figure it's at least another hour. And as long as I get home with my shot, I'll be very happy.
Some were more frustrated as the traffic delayed appointment times.
This is totally absurd. They need to have a better system in place.
About 4,400 appointments were scheduled for Wednesday. By 1 p.m., the line started to clear up a bit. After the long wait, Carol Reed was satisfied with the end result.
Everybody was just so friendly, and I have heart failure, and I have been stuck in my house since February 29th.
About 8,000 to 9,000 appointments for Monday and Tuesday were canceled after the powerful winds caused damage to the site. Most of Monday's appointments were moved to Thursday, and Tuesday's appointments moved to Saturday, although some were able to get in Wednesday.
Tried to spread them out over the week.
Thursday, we could see more long lines. Dr. Chris Longhurst with UCSD Health asks for patience. UCSD is currently hoping to enroll more volunteers to help at the site.
Staffing is one of our main challenges. We've redeployed a lot of our health system staff to help with this.
The county opened its vaccination sites to those 65 and older, one of the reasons the lines have gotten longer. But in a statement to ABC 10 News, a spokesperson for the county says many healthcare systems have begun to reach out to their patients who are eligible to be vaccinated. If you have healthcare, if you have a provider, that is the preferred route to your vaccination. Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
As for the next storm moving in Thursday night into Friday, the plan is to keep the Petco site open. Dr. Longhurst says they work closely with the fire marshal to make sure that the tents are safe. Appointments are scheduled through MyChart. Now tonight there are already some reports of problems with the state's new website for vaccination signups. The pilot program we just mentioned, called My Turn, states that you can find out if it's your turn to be vaccinated, and it lets people schedule vaccination appointments at a site like the Petco Superstation. It's operating now on a trial basis for people living in San Diego and Los Angeles counties, but some San Diegans hit so many roadblocks they say they eventually just gave up. Tonight at 7, what we discovered while exploring the website and what the county and the state tell us about the issues. And our 14-day rolling average for positive cases has dropped a full % since yesterday. It is now at 9% for the first time in months. As with the past 2 days, there were another 1,400 cases reported today. That pushes our total to 132,000. We are still seeing a high number of daily deaths, too. 44 more people were reported today that died. There have been more than 2,400 deaths since the pandemic began.
Getting our first look inside a major resource in the North County in the fight against coronavirus. The federal medical station at Palomar Medical Center was activated back in December, and today Congressman Darrell ISSA toured the facility. It's empty right now, but the floor just below this is open and caring for 18 people with coronavirus. And they are sick enough to be hospitalized, but they don't need to be in the hospital's ICU.
Every additional bed and every new innovation that gives surge capability, like what they've done here at Palomar, is important.
There are more than 200 beds available between the two floors. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services maintains these stations to ease the strain on hospitals. It's unclear how long the federal medical station will remain open. It was set up last April, but not activated until just recently.
Restaurant workers across San Diego are aching to get back on the job now that the stay-at-home order has been lifted. Tonight, our ABC 10 News reporter John Horn explains why some workers are getting the call faster than others.
I'll work 7 days a week, 14 hours.
Peter Mervos couldn't be more elated to be back on the job at OB Noodle House.
This is a great social environment. We want to make sure that we're doing it correctly based on the new mandates.
Mervos saw his hours cut in half amid the shutdown order, which relegated restaurants to takeout only. But when the order surprisingly lifted Monday, owner Scott YENG made the call to staff back up and serve outside, including on its brand new outdoor patio.
Better than caffeine, better than any kind of wake-up call. This is the big energy boost that we've all been waiting for the last few months.
The stay-at-home order may be lifted, but not every restaurant is calling back its staff so quickly. Some are waiting to the weekend, others even longer. Valentina in Encinitas is open with a limited menu and only taking walk-ins for outdoor dining. It's waiting until February 11th to finish up a renovation and bring back all of its servers like Victoria Loggy.
That was it. With school, with the busy schedule, it was the perfect flexibility.
Nearly 9,000 San Diego restaurant workers lost their jobs when the shutdown order hit. And unlike the order, getting them all back to work won't happen overnight. John Horn, ABC 10 News.
Under the purple tier, restaurants can serve outdoors and personal care salons can open with restrictions. Gyms must remain outdoors only.
Nurses at UC San Diego say they desperately need help keeping up with the surge in COVID cases. They held a news conference today. Right now, UCSD is following the state rules for the nurse-to-patient ratio. One nurse is taking care of 2 patients. But as other hospitals in the state request waivers to increase that ratio, local nurses worry that may change.
We call on the state and the University of California to maintain appropriate safety standards and not implement waivers for staffing requirements.
In a statement, UC San Diego said in part they are extremely proud of the level of care and service their team has provided to patients. They say with the help of the community wearing masks and social distancing, they hope to get through the pandemic without applying for a staffing ratio waiver.
Truckloads of PPE arrived in the South Bay for distribution today. This was the scene in National City this morning at an event that was organized by Last Mile San Diego. They are working to get tens of thousands of bottles of hand sanitizer and thousands of thermometers to groups ranging from schools to small businesses. Organizers say donors played a big part in getting the PPE into people's hands. Some of that is also heading across the border to help groups in Mexico. Last Mile San Diego recently sent PPE to the Red Cross in Tijuana. UC San Diego says there was a surge in COVID cases as students returned from winter break, but new cases have dropped significantly since. Our partners at KPBS report that there were more than 200 cases reported in the first week. The school credits its testing and quarantine program in helping to drop the number into the single digits.
We had prepared for it by doing a number of things. We had surge testing, if you will, during that first week to try to identify as quickly as we could people upon return who had brought the virus back with them.
Looking ahead, the university says it is now focused on preventing another surge after spring break. One plan is to offer students spring break internships, encouraging them to stay on campus and build their resumes instead of traveling. The university has said it expects to be fully reopened in the fall.
2 state lawmakers have introduced a resolution aimed at restarting youth sports in California. Despite the state lifting the stay-at-home order this week, youth sports are not allowed in the purple tier. And throughout the month, parents and teachers around California protested to let children play, including several schools in San Diego. The coronavirus pandemic evolves every day, and you can track the latest developments using the ABC 10 News app. Find it for free in the App Store.
A former San Diego Sheriff's deputy will stand trial in the deadly shooting of an unarmed man who was running away from custody last year. Surveillance video shown at Aaron Russell's preliminary hearing this week shows the incident. Russell is charged in the death of Nicholas Bills. On May 1st last year, Bills managed to get out of his handcuffs while in custody. This was at the downtown detention center. As he was running away, investigators say that Russell shot him several times in the back and killed him.
Police say they've arrested someone in the murder of a Solana Beach man and his girlfriend in Mexico. We spoke with the family of Ian Hershen in September after he and his girlfriend Kathy Harvey were found shot to death at the bottom of a well in Baja. Our partners at Televisa tell us that police haven't shared many details about the suspect aside from his first name.
We only know that he goes by the name Emmanuel. They haven't even released his age, his last name, but we now know that he is going to be waiting to start a trial in the next couple of weeks.
Investigators have not said if they've discovered a motive for the killings.